So when you're learning anything, my expert advice is that you should learn how to read and write JSON, because JSON is basically the language of the input and output in anything. So let's go and learn that in a few very simple ways on this whiteboard. And I will keep switching to anything to try to explain things. So basically JSON stands for JavaScript Object Notation. It is a way to represent data. So what is data? Data can be represented inside these little quotations. It can be a so-called string. And in JSON, we don't have numbers. We don't have booleans. We don't have anything else. Everything is inside a string. So it's easy. And then there is something like this, and this is called an array. What's an array? It's a set. It's a way to represent more than one of something. We'll see examples in just a minute. And then we have something like this, and that is called an object. What is an object? An object is a key value pair of information. For example, my name is Emil. It's a key and a value. So for example, my age is 39. It's a key and a value pair. An object always comes with a pair, with a key and a value. All right, so we're going to put this aside, and let's go and try to make a very, very, very simple object in here. So those are kind of like the rule of thumb. These things exist in an object. So I'm going to create an object that has a key called name. You see, you have to close it like that. It's the syntax of it. You have to do it like that. And then you put these colons. Don't ask me why do we have these colons. Why do we not have semicolon? It's the syntax. It's how it is. And then you put, again, these strings and Emil. And with that, you have created your very first object. Now, I can create an object with more than one key value pair by adding a simple comma at the end of it. And that means I can put age. You see, age is 39. If I put this is not a valid JSON. I have to put it inside as a string, 39. I can also put something else. I can say possession, anything, ambassador. So with this approach, what I have created is I have created an object of a person that has a name, Emil, age 39, position, anything, ambassador, or maybe title is the right name for that key. Now this is a very simple example. What I can also do is, let's do that array of objects in just a minute. Let's explain what's an array. An array could be something like, I don't know, Next.js. For example, I'm explaining the technology stack that I'm using. Supabase. And maybe TypeScript. So you see, I am trying to list down things that I am using. I do arrays. So this little square brackets goes around it, the commas separated, and these quotation marks are identifying that these are an array of strings. Nice. How about this? Like, if I have an array of strings, can I also have an array of objects? Because we said an object can be denoted with this. Yes, you can have an array of objects. How can you do that? Yes, an array of objects goes like this. What is this? It's an array of empty objects. You see, they are empty objects, like object number 1, which is empty, object number 2, 3, 4. Now, what if I take this entire object here and I put it inside this? Isn't it the same thing? Yeah, it's the same thing. Let's clean it up a little bit, give it some indentation. And what if this is an array, right? And an array, as we saw here, can have more than one, obviously by putting that comma, because this comma is the same one. If you see here, it was a string, and here it's just an object. Same concept. The comma goes in the same place. That means I can put another person's information here. This could be John, 34. He's also an ambassador. Let's say it's an array of innate ambassadors. And another one, and another one, and another one. Very important that the last one must not have a comma. So I'm going to remove the last one from here. When you start building these objects, or these nested objects, it can get really complicated. So I prefer, don't just practice here, go online, search for JSON validator, and then you will find a lot of them. Just pick one, put your JSON in there, and then click on validate JSON, and then you want to see this. JSON is valid. If I would have added that comma, that extra comma that I removed that, if I click it, it will tell you that this is not correct. It's an invalid JSON. All right, so now go back here. This is another good example. So we started, just a quick recap. We said it's usually a string on both sides. That's an array, that's an object. This is how you can create like simple examples. We just give these simple examples of if you want to store this key value information, the way you store it is somehow like this. This is just one object. And then we said, okay, you can also do it like this to store an array of multiple objects. Now, you can also do something else. You can store an object. An object, we know what it has. Like, it has two things. It has a key and a value. Can the value be an array of strings? Yes, you can have it like this. Right now it is, for example, big technology stack or technologies. Technologies, there we go. And it's an empty array of technologies. That means that this particular object do not have any data. So it's still the same concept, you see? Key and value. Those quotation marks in that little colon. The only change is that the value is now an array. How about this? We already have said that we can store things like this. How about this? That this comes here. This is an absolutely valid JSON. Let's check it out. And if you click this, there you go. You see that it's a valid JSON. All right, if I can do that, can I also do something else? Can I nest them? Can I put a comma here? I know that the key and value, as we saw the value, at the end of the value, you need to put a comma in order to start a new key value pair. Can I put something like this that, okay, these are other information of this particular person? Yes, absolutely, I can do that. Maybe it makes sense that I move the technology off there here, or the technologies that he or she knows. But this is an invalid JSON. Why? Because we don't have a comma here. In order to see that, let's go here, put it here, validate. It's an invalid one. Why? Because it doesn't have a comma here. We need to put that comma, click on validate JSON, and then we should see there's still an error. Why? Because there's a last comma here. We remove that. Validate. It's a valid JSON. And this is a better way to show it, like indent it. If it's more than one, you break it down like that. So let's do that for our use case as well. So you basically indent it like this. Then it looks a little bit cleaner to read. Usually tools already do that off the shelf. Now, I want to add one more piece of pair of this. So before I do that, I'm gonna also save this here so I can put all these snippets for you guys in the video description so you have access to those little pieces one at a time. So if right now this entire block is the value of this technology's key, the next key value pair I'm going to put is right beneath that. It could be something else. For example, it could be location, and that location can be an object. So the value can be an array, or the value can be another object. Now let's go here. Country, Germany, comma, you know it now. City, Berlin. I'm not going to put another comma because I don't want to do more objects or more key value pairs. Now, you can think about this. It can go infinitely down there with a combination of both arrays and objects and strings. So with that, we're done with a bonus lecture about JSON. Now you know how to read and write JSON.